The secret lies with Drake. Hey everybody, welcome to Mainely Movies. Today I'm going to be talking about the 2022 action-adventure comedy, Uncharted. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for a variety of movie-related content like reviews, rank lists, and trailer reactions. All my reviews include a breakdown of the pros and cons, my rating, and some tailored film recommendations, so be sure to watch through to the end of this video for all of that extra content. Uncharted stars Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, and Sophia and was directed by Ruben Fleischer. Based on the video game series of the same name, it tells the origin story of treasure hunter Nathan Drake, played by Tom Holland, as he searches for Magellan's lost treasure. I want to start this review by saying that I have no pre-existing relationship or experience with the Uncharted series. I've never played any of the games, even though they're right up my alley. I always meant to. I even own the first 3. I've just never gotten around to them. So why am I telling you this? Well, this is the type of movie, and the type of adaptation, where knowing somebody's level of knowledge and investment in the IP is gonna provide important context for their thoughts on the film. Now, just because I've never played Uncharted doesn't mean I know absolutely nothing about it. I do know the basics of the gameplay, and very general characterizations for both Nathan and Sully, but that's about it. I don't know any of the other characters from the franchise, I don't know the plot of any of the games, and so I have almost nothing to compare the film against. And from the sounds of it, that might be a good thing, because I got to experience the movie without the potential disappointment stemming from changes or unfulfilled expectations. Putting aside any potential adaptation frustration, fans of treasure hunting action-adventure films are gonna have fun with this one. It's doubtful that it'll be anybody's favorite in the subgenre, and it certainly doesn't break any new ground, but it's definitely entertaining. It's got all of the staples you'd expect from a film like this. Obscure clues and puzzles that only our characters can solve, competing treasure hunting groups, booby traps and tests, exploration of caves, crypts, and all manner of underground chambers. This film wears its influences on its sleeve, straight up name-dropping Indiana Jones, but there's touches of National Treasure, the Da Vinci Code, Tomb Raider, and more in there too. It's true, Uncharted doesn't bring a whole lot that's new to the table. Some people will be bothered by that, but me? I love this type of movie, so seeing another iteration is always fun for me. One of the things that's always the most enjoyable in films like this is the adventure itself. The journey, rather than the actual treasure. And Uncharted has got a fun adventure. As with most treasure hunting movies, it does require some suspension of disbelief. Drake and the rest of the characters are too smart, and too well-roundedly capable to feel like actual people. And the situations they find themselves in, and the series of events that occur, are just too perfect. But as with most treasure hunting movies, you've just gotta go with it. You've got to believe that these characters just have the knowledge needed to solve the clues. That the path that they're following and all the puzzle elements they have to deal with are still there and accessible and functional after 500 years. And why not? It's dumb, but it's dumb, adventurous fun. I want to see them travel around the world in search of lost treasure. Give me clue-solving montages. Let me watch them figure out puzzles by torchlight in underground chambers. It's all part of the fun of an adventure movie. Another big part of the fun is action, and Uncharted's got some entertaining action set pieces. Some of these are almost grounded, but a lot of them are ridiculous and hugely over the top, the opening and closing sequences being prime examples. The almost Fast and Furious level of action absurdity seen here would probably be a little iffy in any other treasure hunting movie, but knowing that it's based on a video game makes the absurdity not only a little more reasonable, but likely intentional. Like I said before, I've never actually played Uncharted, so I have no idea if these action sequences were pulled directly from any of the games, but they certainly feel like it. I've played enough video games in my life to be able to recognize game action mechanics and video game physics. Jumping, climbing, parkour, it's all exceptionally effortless here in that video game kind of way. The CGI gets a little wonky at times, and there's some very obvious green screen during the biggest sequences that adds to the artificiality, but again, it's a game, so it works. We've talked about the adventure and action, but what about the characters? Keeping in mind my limited knowledge of the source material, I liked Tom Holland as Nathan Drake. This is supposed to be a prequel origin story of sorts, so even though he's very young for the character himself is young in this story, and hasn't yet become the version that's seen in the games. And so the Drake we see here is charming, funny, and capable, all of which make for a good action-adventure hero. Mark Wahlberg, on the other hand, wasn't quite as impressive in his role as Sully. Again, I know very little about what this character is supposed to be like, and this is a prequel, but I think Mark Wahlberg was miscast here. Don't get me wrong, I think his performance was fine, and he was often funny. He just didn't feel like Sully. Honestly, he didn't feel like any character. He felt like Mark Wahlberg playing Mark Wahlberg in an action comedy. Uncharted is an ironically charted and by-the-books treasure hunting adventure film. It's overly breezy and lacks story and character depth, but it delivers the adventurous entertainment expected from the genre. There's nothing exceptional or particularly unique here, but it's an undeniably fun movie. Uncharted is more than just a movie, however. It's also an adaptation. Fans of the games will surely pick up on and appreciate things that I missed, though I did catch a certain cameo. But on the flip side, fans of the games are going to miss things that I don't even know I should be missing. So I have a feeling that people's opinions on this film are going to be largely dependent on whether or not they've played the games. Alright, let's talk about the pros and cons. Pro number one is the action. I expected a lot of action, but I didn't expect there to be quite as much diversity in the action as there actually was. The big, over-the-top video gamey set pieces will deservedly get most of the attention, but there were some nice chase and fight sequences too, that, while still video gamey, had a slightly more grounded feel to them. The action itself isn't amazing here. There's some wonky CG, and nearly all of the hand-to-hand fights would have benefited greatly from longer takes, but it was still extremely entertaining. The second pro is the adventure, which is fortunate considering this is an adventure film. Nothing about the story here is particularly unique or surprising, but it delivers on all of the expected treasure hunting staples. It's an effortless globe-trotting adventure full of centuries-old clues, traps, and puzzles. Things play out as you'd probably expect, but that doesn't detract from the swashbuckling entertainment and adventurous spirit on display. On the con side, the biggest issue is Mark Wahlberg as Sully. Even with the very limited knowledge I have of the source material, and the understanding that this is a prequel, I could say that the casting and writing of this character feel a little off. I'm not gonna lie, Wahlberg was very entertaining, and he and Holland occasionally had some good bantering moments, so it's not like I hated the character or the performance. It's just that Sully didn't really feel like a character at all. It was just Mark Wahlberg being himself, or his usual character. You could have cut him out of any number of his past action comedies and dropped him into this movie, and it would be exactly the same. The second con is the lack of depth to the story and the characters. Now, I realize how eye-rolling of a criticism that sounds when we're talking about a movie like this. Not only an action-adventure comedy, but one that's based on a video game. But when I talk about depth here, I'm not looking for an involved character study or some thematically dense story. I just wanted there to be something binding it all together. There are some promising attempts towards the beginning with some of Drake's backstory, but throughout the rest of the film, there's this shallow quality. Character motivations and actions just shift with little provocation, and the story breezes by without allowing any of the potentially impactful moments to hit with their full force. Before I give you my rating and recommendations, I want to remind you that if you're interested in buying Uncharted or any of the other films I mentioned today, I do have affiliate links for all of them in the description below. I get a small commission from anything you buy using one of my links, so I'd really appreciate it if you'd use them if you're in the market for any of these movies. I'm gonna give Uncharted 3.5 out of 5 paws. As somebody who's never played the games, I was able to enjoy this movie starting from a clean slate. Deviation from the source material is sure to frustrate fans of the games, and others will be disappointed by the genre familiarities, but this movie delivers on both its action and its adventure, resulting in a ridiculous but fun ride. I would recommend Uncharted to people who like treasure hunting films. If these types of comedy-infused action adventures entertain you time and time again, I think you'll have a good time with this one too. It doesn't deviate from the subgenre tropes and conventions, but if you like more than a handful of these treasure hunting movies, I don't think that'll bother you. The film's deviation from its video game source material, however, might. Big fans of the games will likely find themselves frustrated, especially with some of the characters, but these sources of frustration will largely go unnoticed by people who aren't familiar with the games. If you liked Uncharted, I would recommend Tomb Raider. This 2018 reboot of the Tomb Raider film franchise fills a very similar niche as Uncharted. There are some inherent similarities to the video games, and both movies focus on younger versions of their respective heroes in order to tell a prequel origin story. If you're interested in another fun, history-driven treasure hunt film, you've gotta watch National Treasure, which features plenty of clues and puzzles, as well as an entertaining adventure hero performance by Nicolas Cage. And if you're in the mood for a slightly campier treasure hunt, you might want to watch The Goonies. The group of kids that serve as the protagonists of the story mix up the formula a bit, but it's another fun movie that features lots of clues, puzzles, and booby traps. Alright, a couple questions for you guys. Number 1, have you seen Uncharted? If so, what'd you think of it? And number 2, what's a video game that you would like to see adapted as a movie? Be sure to leave your answers in the comments below so we can get a discussion going. Alright, so if you got some enjoyment, insight, or information out of this review, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe while you're at it to see more videos like this. Till next time, this has been Alyssa with Mainly Movies. The way life should be.